So, despite the fire, David and I went ahead and bought this shell of a house. The two women who were going to come in with us didn't feel that they could go ahead with it at that particular time, but they did join us a little later on to help run a restaurant that we started up there. But the only thing that we could do was to try and clear all the rubble from the ground floor of this house. And the only way we could do that was to have a wheelbarrow and a shovel and just simply shovel our way through all this rubble. And eventually we managed to get the rubble out through the front door. And part of the garden, not quite near the house, there was a big dip in the ground, and so we were able to put most of the rubble into this enormous hollow. And so we carried on day after day, month after month, until eventually a year later we finally cleared the last of the rubble from the ground floors. And then we could start to try to get estimates for putting some of the roof back on. We knew it was going to be a very expensive thing to do, but we were determined to have a go at it. In the meantime, while we were doing this rubble clearing, David actually moved over from Penicum and opened up a salon in the house, a hair salon. And most of his customers came with him, and of course living in a new area he managed to pick up quite a lot of new people as well. And I also opened up in the old larders of the house a small tea shop. I used to just do lunches and teas, and that took off quite well. And we were able to get quite a lot of people to come in and come down the drive, and it was interesting because people drove down this drive, and it was a very beautiful drive, to see this huge house with no roof on it, and they wondered where the heck they were going to. But in this courtyard, which was very attractive, and we did some really nice work and put plants and things, and it was very pretty. In the summertime people could eat out in the courtyard, and we used of course the main kitchen of the house, which was still intact. The lady who actually invested some money into the house in Penicum, and then carried on and put the money back into this big house, she married, and her and her husband actually bought the old housekeeper's cottage off us, and so we had a lump sum of money, and then we could then start putting this roof back on this house. So slowly and surely we managed to get this roof back on the majority of the house. There was one section right at the end of the house that we weren't able to do because it was an extremely expensive bit to redo. So that was left, but the rest of the roof was up and on. So then we were able to look at the house and decide, well, what could we use this house to bring in some money? And one of the two rooms on the ground floor, one had been the dining room and the other was the reception hallway. We actually knocked the wall down between the two rooms, so that created one very, very large reception room. And so eventually we were able to do weddings, and I did the catering for it, and one of the first weddings that we did was just after we'd finished painting the whole of this reception room. And it was a beautiful day, and this couple were delighted with what we did for them, and they were lovely people, and they used to come to the restaurant, and they were really very supportive to us and wanted to help out. So this was the first reception we did.